So as of yesterday, Andrew Tate got banned off of pretty much every major social media platform other than TikTok. Whether or not TikTok will ban him, I really don't know. It'll be really interesting to see because TikTok pretty much lets anybody fly if you're famous enough. Just looking at all the alleged predators that they've allowed to be on the site. But that's a whole nother video that could be made. What I really want to talk about is the fallout, and I knew there was going to be an interesting fallout, and that's why I didn't make a video about it yesterday, because I was like, I just want to see people's reactions to this, and the mixing of reactions was something that I really kind of anticipated. I could kind of tell that some people were going to be for it. Obviously his fans, well, people who aren't his fans and are against him, and obviously his fans would be like, oh, this is the worst thing ever, this is a violation of free speech, all that. And it was really a cesspit over on Twitter, which when is it not really, but especially this time. So I'm gonna get into the tweets because I thought they were pretty interesting. Ethan Klein came out, and he's always one who's had takes that I always agree with. If you look at my channel, it's always me agreeing with him. If you can't tell by the way I phrased that, I'm clearly joking, but he came out with a bad take, and here it is. I find it sad that so many people are defending Andrew Tate by saying he shouldn't be deplatformed. The same people who wouldn't defend a Nazi for calling out for calling out violence, yet somehow it's okay against women. He says women should be, he said he, but it's be, owned, controlled, and deserve our word. That's calling for violence. I think it's really weird to compare Andrew Tate to a Nazi because you think he is calling for violence against women. Now, I've seen the video of him like whipping a woman with a belt, and honestly, I do think that Andrew Tate, the person, should have gotten banned, right? Because I mean, there's videos of him like beating up women and stuff. Like, he's not a good person. I'm not a fan of him, alright? I want to be clear about that. But it's so ridiculous to be like, oh, this guy is a Nazi. Like, this Hitler too. What are you talking about? You're just taking it way too far. Also, if you go back and look at the time, it's 6:30 a.m. That's my Eastern time that they're putting on that. And he's in California, so it was around like 3:30-ish for him. So this guy was sitting up late at night thinking about Andrew Tate. That is the weirdest waste of your time ever. Like, why are you spending your time thinking, let me talk about Andrew Tate more? I think my opinion really needs to get out there. So I'm going to tweet at 3 in the morning. It's just weird. Now, Ethan had even more takes earlier on, and I'll read one of them to you. Can't believe the amount of entitled centrists crying about Andrew Tate being deplatformed. All men, BTW. He's a hate-mongering criminal scammer. Literally F him, bye-bye. I think what really is the worst thing about Andrew Tate getting banned is the fact that people are like, now are going to use the quote I talked about earlier to be like, oh, they're just afraid of what he's saying. They're afraid of how he tells the truth, quote unquote, which he doesn't. His ideas are dumb. He's dumb. I don't think I've clarified that enough earlier on, but he's stupid. I don't think he should be banned though. Criminal scammer, I don't know. There's like he's being investigated for human trafficking, and people keep bringing that up. Like, he's being investigated. That doesn't mean he did it. In this internet culture that we've formed, people just want to jump on top of things so fast and just want to be like, oh, he's being investigated. He was accused of this. He did it. He had to have done it. Move on to the next story. Boom, 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 boom. I can't give my time and really think about it. I just have to jump on to whatever bandwagon is most convenient for me, and I have to say that this person's innocent, this person's guilty, move on. Now, Mutahar came out with a good take, and it's a good take because I agree with it. He said, banning Andrew Tate is dumb. Ideas should be challenged, and if he spreads misinformation, it should be countered in the public sphere. And yeah, he's right. There's a lot of counters to what he says. Like people being like, oh, what color is your Bugatti? Maybe I don't want to spend a ton of money on a car. Oh, well, women are bad drivers. Well, maybe the women you know are bad drivers, but not every woman is a bad driver. it's just weird stuff that he has to say, about, apparently, I haven't seen the clip, so take this with a grain of salt. He said that women deserve to be SA'd, right? Which I disagree with. Nobody deserves to be attacked just because the other person wants to do whatever to them. Like, that doesn't give them the right to do that. Boom. Just counter all these ideas, because then when you ban this person and treat them like, oh, we gotta get rid of this person, what they say is harmful. A lot of people are young fans of this guy, and they just see him get banned and they see him as a martyr, and they're like, oh, we gotta fight for the cause. Like a metaphorical martyr. Obviously, people don't think he's gonna die because of this. It's just people get more radicalized when you do stuff like this. This will definitely reduce Andrew Tate's reach. Don't get me wrong. I mean, talk about the Alex Jones stuff. When he got banned off of YouTube, he was like, this will just make me stronger. His numbers on InfoWars, like, I haven't looked at them, but I guarantee you they're way smaller than they were on YouTube. Way smaller. Because A, he's less accessible, and B, he's off on some random website spouting crazy nonsense. Nobody's gonna go and look for him. Now, of course, people disagree with Mutahar, and most of them were all saying, oh, well, Andrew Tate's bad, he should be banned. Andrew Tate's bad, he should be banned, just over and over and over again. But there was a really interesting reply, and I just wanted to read it to you, and I'm gonna do it. So, Alicia's demon goddess of lust said, politics aren't an honorable battlefield. Right-wing ideas prey on fear and emotion and are actively harmful to minorities. Right-wing ideas should always be gated from ever getting a chance to influence people.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
And this is one of the worst takes I've ever seen on Twitter, which is pretty impressive, honestly. Honestly, this is what happens when you just never hear someone who disagrees with you and you think that everything you say is right, like, all the time. And you're just never challenged, and you just say, oh, anybody who disagrees with me. And there are people on the right who think like this too. Okay, so it isn't just a left-wing thing, right-wing thing. I'm making this point, and I'm getting off politics, by the way. But people in politics who are just like, oh, this person disagrees with me, we should just not let them say anything. They should be stopped from being able to speak in any capacity, are stupid, right? Like, how could you, like, this person clearly is someone who can read and write, right? So why are they so ridiculously, like, why are they just trying to keep any ideas that disagree with them from reaching anybody else? It's just so, it's such a waste of time, but it's just so ridiculous. Like, I can't deal with these Twitter people. Jeez, it's just wild. These podcasts inviting Andrew Tate to speak, even if their intent is to embarrass him, are part of the problem, by the way. Stop giving these men platforms to spew dangerous, awful rhetoric, especially when these same men have histories of abuse and serious allegations against them. Making this point again, allegations don't mean anything until they're proven. I don't care about allegations unless there's credible evidence, because anybody can say anything. There's no point. You should take every allegation seriously, and if you're the police, you shouldn't just brush them off or be like, oh, well, I guess she asked for it, she went off into the night all by her own wearing that skimpy skirt. Like, no, take every allegation seriously, but it doesn't matter as like oh, they have allegations against them, ooh, this boogeyman. Also, just because you have somebody on your show doesn't mean you're platforming them. If you bring him on and you embarrass him, then he doesn't look good, and then he doesn't build his platform. Duh. Like, do you think that anytime anyone is, well, this person probably thinks that all publicity is good publicity. That's probably what it is. They probably think that if anybody's talking about you, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and you can use that to build off of yourself, but not really when you're trying to sell a product like Andrew Tate was. The people that were talking good about him really helped make his platform for him. This situation reminds me of an episode of Hazel that I watched as a kid. So these two young kids tried to get married, and everyone knew that they were too young and they didn't have enough money. And they were like, if we try to force them apart, they're going to work super hard and be like, our love will hold us together and That's dumb because they're both 19 and they're not going to be able to make it in this world, but they'll persevere because we're pulling them apart. So what they did is that they showed them how bad their idea of getting married was really going to be on them and how hard it was going to be. Hazel took them into this apartment that was really dark and told them that they were going to have to pay all this money, and then that we're going to have to live off of just the husband's salary because it was the 60s and he didn't want his wife to work. So at the end of the episode, they were like, hey, let's wait to get married until you have a stable job. And while I'm not saying that, oh, we should show like young boys all these misogynistic ideas and be like, oh, here's the ideas. We should show them, hey, here's what's bad about these ideas. Here's why these ideas don't work. Here's why these ideas don't make sense. Because if you're like immediately, oh, you're not allowed to hear this. Oh, this is horrible. You can't hear this or you'll be brainwashed. We as humans are always wanting what we can't have. And so when we see that, or we see something that's considered bad, a lot of people will gravitate to that and they'll say, oh, well, society doesn't like this or society doesn't care about this, but I do. Okay, this isn't a phase. This is really what's going on. Okay, Andrew Tate is telling the truth about women. Okay, and they're gravitating towards that because everyone's telling them, oh, you can't do that. And instead, like I said, we should be telling them, hey, here's why it's wrong. Okay, women are just normal people. They aren't these porcelain dolls that are like cash prizes for you to attain. Okay, they're people. Anyway, I think I pretty much explained the entire situation alright, moderately well, I guess. So thank you all for watching. I really and truly appreciate it. Goodbye.